2018 Porsche Panamera car review. In the last, it wasn't just powertrains which are hybridized in Porsche's gasoline-electric vehicles. Their mission, too, was split between upholding an engaged pedigree and reducing fuel consumption. But the 918 Spider hypercar marked a transfer of philosophy. Porsche now says hybridization means making kick-ass cars kick more ass, treating the fuel economy and emissions benefits associated with electrification as subordinate to boosting performance. The good points of 2018 Porsche Panamera: gorgeous and luxurious interior, seamless hybrid system, quick and capable. The bad points of 2018 Porsche Panamera: unpredictable brake-pedal response, some ergonomic missteps, odd thrum from the floor. The new Panamera 4 Hybrid certainly generates numbers that secure the new Focus. Compared with the first sort Panamera Hybrid, total system horsepower is about 462 from 416, total torque has risen to 516 lb-ft from 435 lb-ft, and Porsche claims the revolutionary version is 0.8 seconds quicker to 60 miles per hour, much more impressive considering it weighs another 700 pounds greater than the 330 horsepower non-hybrid Panamera 4. Credit upgrades to your driveline and electric the different parts of the powertrain. An 8-speed Saurus dual-clutch transmission takes the best place of an 8-speed planetary automatic, bringing by using it whip crankshift speeds. Per the 4 in its name, the Panamera 4 Hybrid presently has standard all-wheel drive, whereas the earlier S E-Hybrid was rear drive only. The new car will be offered to be a long wheelbase executive model. No matter the length, the Hybrid has a 14.1 kWh battery power, offering half more capacity than before, as well like a stronger electric motor generator, still sandwiched between engine along with a transmission, making 136 horsepower and 295 lb-ft of torque up against the old one's 95 and 229. Charge time with the batteries is as quick as 2.5 hours utilizing the optional 7.2 kilowatts onboard charger and also a 240-volt, 40-amp power source. The internal combustion engine remains a V6 of roughly identical output, but it's a brand new, twin-turbo 2.9-liter design instead of the former supercharged 3.0-liter. Transparent transport. On the trail, the Panamera's powertrain systems are very well integrated inside the hybrid auto mode, using the transition from solely electricity to hybrid operation and back being practically invisible. The car is usually cycled through additional modes: E-Power, E-Hold, E-Carge, Sport, and Sport Plus. In E-Power, the Panamera Hybrid is capable, Porsche says, of covering up to 31 miles on electricity alone, plus it delivers a torquey and mostly serene driving experience, save for many electric motor whine with an occasional and oddly robust vibration thrum over the floor. The source with this thrum remains unconfirmed despite discussions with multiple Porsche engineers, but we suspect getting some sort of cooling equipment, because it occurred generally after bouts of hard driving and/or acceleration. Sport and Sport Plus modes usually are meant to maximize combined hybrid performance. The first kind keeps battery charge at the steady level to make sure there's electric thrust when you out like it, while Sport Plus actively works to recharge the batteries utilizing the engine to be sure there's more thrust when you need it. We can ensure that these modes execute these tasks as advertised, but they also otherwise didn't apparently significantly modify the character from the car beyond firming inside the suspension to varied degrees. Whatever the mode, the Hybrid offers what you'd expect coming from a large Porsche sedan: disciplined body control, to be able to soak up many high-speed miles, and also a well-sorted ride looking at the standard air spring suspension. It masks the weight well without having sense of lolling or listing in corners, Nevertheless, the hybrid would feel more agile still if, well, it weren't a hybrid. But wait, there's more. It's worth indicating that those searching out the experience promised by modes labeled Sport and Sport Plus are usually better off using the non-hybrid 440 horsepower 4S. It costs just $1,000 or $2,000 in excess of the hybrid when comparably equipped and, despite its relative power deficiency, is quicker and even more athletic as it weighs a huge selection of pounds less. The 4S gives up some fuel efficiency, although we don't yet understand how much. Testing of a few hybrid on EPA cycles isn't complete, but Porsche says the figures are not far off. We'll uncover more this summer once the hybrid proceeds sale to be a 2018 model. If you obtained a 4S instead, you'd buy a predictable conventional foot brake. The hybrid's regenerative braking mechanism is actuated using a pedal that's spongy inside first few millimeters of travel and occasionally pulses under even light pressure for no discernible reason. The system's transition between regenerative and friction braking is pretty noticeable, along with the setup also return varying braking force under constant pressure during single braking events. Owners will most likely get used to it, but we doubt they'll ever be in a position to consistently stop with grace. Indeed, for many of their ample decelerative power, the brakes really are a glaring shortcoming in a vehicle that's otherwise nicely executed. The good things include sultry sheet metal that's more refined and much better resolved than before. We could do with no acid green hybrid exclusive touches, though, as well like a swanky interior that centers around a nice-looking glossy stack lined with touch screens, capacitive switches, and haptic controls. This new secondary control setup is worlds better to negotiate as opposed to Buttonpalooza, which was the old car's central tunnel. The overall home design is simple and refined, and our test cars featured big slabs of dark wood and yards of buttery soft leather on just about every surface. In typical Porsche fashion, however, there remain oddities. As we noted in your first drive from the Panamera lineup, the direction and strength of airflow from your central vent is controlled via touchscreen. For silly other than it appears someone neglected to say aloud, "That's stupid." There are various sub-menu interfaces, and yes, it's not invariably clear which of them houses a certain function. Indeed, there's little concerning the system that's intuitive within the way of an excellent smartphone. The higher graphics sure are pretty, though. What can it hurt? The Panamera 4 Hybrid sits from the thick with the lineup by price. For roughly $5,500 greater than the 330 horsepower Panamera 4, considering the hybrid's additional standard equipment, for example the Sport Chrono package and adjustable air suspension, it's quicker. But as mentioned previously, the better performing 4S commands just a little more money compared to hybrid. So why is Porsche building the hybrid in any respect, when its main advantage involves a soon-announced fuel economy numbers that buyers with this price bracket probably don't give two rips about? It doesn't hurt to own this car for Europe, where government emissions targets, infrastructure subsidies for public charging, and aggressive tax incentives for purchasers have fostered an aggressive rollout of plug-in hybrids across all areas. In addition, performance hybrid programs exactly like it likely provide fertile educational ground to the development of your eventual pollution hybrid 911. That's a pluggable Porsche we're wanting to hear more about, because although this Panamera is quick, capable, and cozy, it doesn't increase the pulse comparable to we expect that 911 to.